Again, welcome everyone. So I'm Ryan Graham. I lead the sales marketing teams here at PropFuel, and appreciate everyone taking the time to join us today. All right, I think we're probably good. We can get rolling. So welcome. So this webinar is designed to walk through 5 specific ROI examples from PropFuel. So examples of clients using PropFuel, and 5 very specific ROI examples. So what I want to do, just as before we get started, though, kind of driving into those examples, is spend about 5 to 10 minutes just walking you through what PropFuel is, why associations use PropFuel, what we see to be the problem or the challenge in the association space, and then we can get into those 5 ROI examples. Before I do that, quick kind of shameless plug. If you, over the course of the webinar today, you like what I'm talking about, you like what PropFuel stands for and how it can be used, and you think it's impactful for your it could be impactful for your association, we are going to post a link to book just a more personalized, relevant overview meeting / demo. If you're inclined to do that, certainly follow that link and do that. What I will tell you as well is, because it's the end of the year, shamelessly, we are for anyone that does that, and then if your association were to sign on with PropFuel in December, I know it's a short period of time. However, we're if you were able to make that work, we will waive all of our setup fees, and I'll explain what that kind of entails. But waive all of our setup, onboarding, and integration fees for doing so. So again, I'll remind everyone of that in just a bit. All right, so let's dive into what PropFuel does and kind of our view of things. Just for a little bit of background, we have about probably about 220, close to about 220 association clients. All of our clients, like 99% of them, are associations, member-based organizations, nonprofits. The challenge that we see today is that almost all associations see the value in creating a personalized experience. Members are craving a personalized experience. I just saw yesterday a post from Higher Logic, if you're familiar with them. They did a member experience survey and then created a report out of that. 56% of the members of those organizations said they value and are looking for a personalized experience from their respective associations. So associations know that they need to create a personalized, relevant experience for members. However, the challenge is most associations are lacking the right data. They just don't have the right data, and lacking the right tools or tool to create that experience. We see that a lot of associations kind of, what I would say, see symptoms of these problems. Those symptoms are things like, we're losing way too many members, our retention is low, we're not acquiring members at the same rate that we're losing them. Basically, those symptoms are symptoms of the fact that the association is not creating a relevant experience for the members. And so the opportunity that PropFuel fulfills, the opportunity that we see, is that most associations are focused on talking at members, the tools that are used. So primarily email marketing, marketing automation tools, your tools like Informs, Real Magnet, HubSpot, MailChimp, Constant Contact, Pardot. They're not bad tools. They're great tools. The purpose of them, however, is to tell people about stuff. It's to broadcast and push information at members. What's lost in that equation is listening to the member to know what they need, what their motivations are, what their hesitations are, and how you can best serve them. Those systems at best give you enough kind of generic data to be able to guess at that. But what associations really need is much more definitive, much more decisive data that is actionable, that can be used to create that experience, that personalized experience for a given member. So let's talk about what PropFuel does specifically. We see ourselves as a listening platform. That's the challenge. That's the problem, is associations don't have a great way to listen to members and then be responsive. So this is an example, and this is actually, you'll see some really good best practices within this. So in this example, this client, ISTE, they use, just for background, they use Fontiva, and they use HubSpot, and they use they use PropFuel. Must be Mondays. I guess it's Wednesday. They use PropFuel. So this is the first email in this campaign, which is a new member onboarding campaign. They actually moved their entire new member onboarding campaign from HubSpot into PropFuel. They felt like PropFuel did a much better job of engaging members in that first year of being a new member. So what we're doing here is every single PropFuel email is focused around asking a member a question for the purposes of capturing that insight and taking action on that. We call that ask, capture, and act at PropFuel. That's kind of our phrase for this. So in this context, what we're not doing is we're not approaching this in the typical way that a new member is approached. Hey, welcome new member. Here's a big, long 4-paragraph email with the 28 member benefits you now have access to, links to everything. That's really overwhelming for a member to get that email and try to sift through all that. A lot of members, I think, probably do what I would do with that email, which is snooze it and say, I'm going to come back to it tomorrow, and snooze it and snooze it and snooze it, never do anything with it. So if you, however, were able to get a member to engage with that, at best, though, for the association, you get back that generic behavioral data. The member opened the email, they clicked a link, clicked a series of links. That does not mean that those are the things that they want. So what we're doing is we're asking a question. Now, if I answer this and I say, hey, I want to expand my knowledge and skills, that's what I want to get out of ISTE in my first year as a new member. What PropFuel does is we have actions that are used at the individual, let me show you for this one specifically, at the individual answer level. So we have a question, we have structured responses, structured answers with structured actions tied back to those. These actions are designed to do a number of things. We kind of put them into 2 or 3 specific categories. One, we want to take immediate action to provide that member with relevant content. Completely different than the experience of a survey where someone, first of all, there's just a lot of friction with surveys. But when I answer a survey, I'm not really getting anything back of value. They're just, an organization just collecting the data. What we want to do is the polar opposite of that. We want to, as soon as I answer that question, provide relevant value. So we're bringing me to a landing page showing me how I can, again, expand my knowledge and skills, because that's what I want to get out of ISTE in year 1. We can also redirect someone to a URL if you want them to go onto your website. We can send them an immediate follow-up email. We can do a series of things that get to that immediate value. The other side of the coin, one of the key things that we do is use actions to create a longer ongoing journey for that new member, whatever the relevant experience is. So ways that we can do that are we can update a field inside of the AMS. We can update a field or add someone to a list in your marketing automation system. We can tag people to add them to a list in PropFuel. We can automatically add them to another campaign. So that's exactly what ISTE does, which is really powerful. And I want to show you this. So after you answer, they have a few of these campaigns here, ongoing or onboarding follow-up. So what they've done is they've created these campaigns so that within 6 months of you answering that first question as a new member, what's going to happen is you're going to get this follow-up. And it's going to say, hey, a few months ago, you shared that your primary goal with us as a new member again is expand your knowledge and skills. Have you accomplished that yet? Basically, how's it going for you? Basically, they're saying, hey, you're on the path with us. How's it going? So one thing before I get into what this does, just the mere fact that they're able to collect the data and then retell the member, this is what you told us, is unique in and of itself. Most associations don't have data that is this accessible, this actionable, and that is able to be used in this way. That's unique in and of itself. If I'm a member, I'm like, holy cow, these guys actually remembered what I told them and they're using it in a way to create value for me. That's cool. So now what we have is the ability to adjust the experience based upon what they say. So if I say, hey, that's no longer my goal, one of the capabilities of PropFuel is any answer can lead to a follow-up question. So they're bringing me to a question now because I said, that's no longer my goal. And what they're saying is, well, what do you want to get out of ISTE then? Where do you want to go? And if I say, I want to further my career, and that's my answer, that's going to trigger another immediate action and adjust the aspects of that ongoing journey for me. So to bring this back a little bit, what every association knows, but it's really hard to account for, is you may learn something about a member, but the member's needs and their motivations and what they want, they're always changing and evolving. So we have to have these ways to have these checkpoints to say, How's it going? Is this still the same for you? Is this different? Just as an example, ISTE, as part of their new member onboarding campaign, the second email, I think it is something along the lines of, so what's your preferred way to learn? So in this case, what ISTE has that most associations have is a huge library of learning products in all sorts of different topic areas, and learning products across a number of different formats and delivery methods. So a lot of times, and we used to, so myself and a bunch of folks here at PropFuel used to be in the LMS space. So we previously had an LMS platform company that worked with associations. We did that for 13, 14 plus years. And all too often what happens is you put your LMS up, looks great, it's branded, it's got search features, filter features, sort features, it's awesome. And you just expect members to come and they're going to just do all that work, and they're going to do all the sifting and filtering, and they're going to go find the stuff that they want. And that is the opposite of reality, which is we can't just point people to a bunch of stuff. Usually what happens with learning products is you probably send 4 to 6 emails. Hey, here's our upcoming live webinars. Hey, don't miss out. Here's our course catalog. Here's 3 courses we want to highlight. Hey, we have this other product, blah, 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 blah. If we can cut down and we can get people the stuff that's relevant to them, that's really the goal here. So we're saying, hey, what's your preferred learning method? Well, I want to attend live webinars. They're going to show me how to do that. They also may add me to a list in HubSpot to send me more relevant drip emails about upcoming live webinars. But at the same time, like the first question in new member onboarding, we're going to want to go back to them 3-6 months. And we're going to say, hey, you told us live webinars is what you're focused on. Is that still the product of most interest to you? Okay, no, let's adjust, let's iterate, etc. All right, so that's a little bit about what PropFuel does. Just for a little bit of context, we have a lot of different use cases in which our clients are using PropFuel. Our clients, like I said, 99% of them are associations, all sorts of different sizes, all sorts of different industries. 30% of them are trade associations, 70% of them are professional associations, or maybe a little bit of a mix somewhere in the middle. Associations as big as National Association of Home Builders or American Academy of Pediatrics, to associations that are professional associations with 500 members. I'll talk about this a little bit later. We have integrations pretty much with all of the predominant AMS platforms. We have about 45 to 50 integrations, including marketing automation, email marketing systems, integrations with Feather, certification platforms, association analytics, etc. So that's just a little bit. Here's some of the use cases, but now what I want to do is drive into some of the specific kind of ROI examples. So this is example 1, AANP, so Association of Nurse Practitioners. So AANP is a client that for a long time, they're a pretty big association. They have tens of thousands. I don't remember the exact number offhand, but I think it's somewhere in the range of maybe 90 to 100 or 100 to 110,000 members. They're pretty large. So what they've been doing for a long time was sending emails like this. So basically what this email is, hey, come to annual conferences coming up, whole bunch of information. Hey, by the way, do you want to join AANP? So just those typical emails. I think an email like this, I forget exactly for them, was probably coming out of Informs or Real Magnet or something like that. So this was the email, a lot of content, a series of calls to action. So just a lot of stuff jammed together. They started with PropFuel about a year ago, and the first 2 things that they wanted to tackle were new member acquisition and lapsed member win back. So what we did was we took those emails and we moved them into this format, just basically the PropFuel format, which again is focused around far less content, a specific question as the call to action, and then relevant actions related to that. So here's a few of the examples of their emails. So in this one, last chance special offer. If you join by this time, you get these benefits. Why are you waiting to join AANP? Awesome question. Lots that can be gleaned from that. Now, I'll actually show you the live examples of these in a moment. This one is reaching out today to tell you about a 15% discount. Would you like to rejoin AANP today to get that 15% discount? Now, for AANP, they saw phenomenal results. This is one example of the results that they saw. This is comparative. So when they did a similar campaign related to new member acquisition, this is the campaign that they've been doing previously. They saw 444 new members come out of this with PropFuel, same period of time in which they did the campaign, I think it was like a 30-day campaign, they saw 560 new members come in. Here's the revenue change. They saw a lift of about $18,000 in revenue. Basically, same exact audience. And this is the unique part. Went out to the same audience with those two different campaigns. So it was a very true A/B test. Same audience, same period of time. One was their broadcast emails with lots of calls to action and lots of content. One was the PropFuel approach of ask a question, capture that insight, and drive action. And this is the distinct results that they saw. This is what they saw. So just to look at it from a live standpoint. So here's some of the examples. This is that one that you saw earlier. Would you like to get this? Now, what's interesting about this is, again, if you answer yes, they're going to bring you to a landing page, show you how to do that, all that sort of stuff. If I say no thanks, I don't remember exactly, but I think if I say no thanks here, what they're going to do is, yeah, this is great. So what they're going to do is they're going to ask me a question. Now, this is really, really impactful from what we see with our clients. What we're doing here is we're saying, great, we know the answer is no. However, that doesn't mean it's a loss. It's a lost cause. It's not going to happen, or I mean, maybe it won't. But let us learn a little bit more. So if I say I'm retiring or I've retired, I don't know exactly here, but let's just take a stab at it. If I say I'm retired or retiring, yep, awesome. So they have a retired nurse practitioner membership package. I may have known nothing about that. So now they're to give me all the information about it, telling me what it has, $55. Awesome. So now maybe I'm inclined to do something with that. But the key is we ask the question, so we have a definitive understanding about that member, and we can do something that is relevant versus guessing. When we send those emails where it's, and I'll get into this a little bit more, but just those generic emails, hey, your membership has lapsed. We don't know why, but hey, here's a regurgitation of the 8 member benefits you get. Click here, renew your membership now. We still know nothing. Whether the person rejoins, doesn't rejoin, we know nothing about their decision basis and what's going on to inform that. So this was extremely successful for them. Just a few other examples. This one's pretty similar here. This is part of part of the campaign here, so you can see this. So if you join, this is the first email. Would you like to join? Here's the second one asking, are you ready? Actually, that's the third one. This is the second one. Why are you waiting? And then basically, again, we have responses for each of these that are relevant. There's a great quote. I have it here. ANP sent it to us. I just want to pull it up here real quick. So this is directly from them. So this is, excuse me, from the director of IT. He or she said, I regularly monitor membership orders, and I noticed a huge bump since PropFuel came online. There were 432 orders just through the join renew yesterday, including 66 in 1 hour. We had 95 renewals in 1 hour last week. That's the biggest single hour of orders I've ever seen. A normal good, quote unquote, hour is 20 to 25. So this is obviously a great tool. That is awesome. So you have, again, larger organization. You have a director of IT who's looking at orders at the hourly basis. Not all organizations are doing that, obviously. But he's saying, typically a good hour for us, 20 to 25 orders. We saw 66, then we saw 95. So really, really unique value and ROI coming out of this for ANP. Just to say it, if you have questions, write them into the chat or the Q&A, and I'll get all over them as they come in. All right, so this is lapsed member win back too, kind of similar, but a little bit of a different, well, kind of pretty similar, but again, good example just to show. So, so with this client, and Cozy does, just for background, they use Rhythm AMS and they use Informs. So for a long time, they were sending out the very typical renewal emails. Hey, your membership's coming up for renewal. You know, here's our 8 member benefits. Click here to renew now. The natural problem about that is, at best, you get a backward-looking data, meaning you send that first email. Maybe you send it a renewal email or lapse email. You send that. Well, you have a whole bunch of people who don't renew. All you know is they haven't renewed. I mean, maybe they opened the email. Well, that doesn't tell us anything. maybe they click the join now link. Really tough to say that that's actually intent of doing anything. So now what you say is, hey, here's a list of people that haven't renewed. Let's send them another email and then another email. Let's pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, why haven't you renewed yet? So what we want to do here is we want to get much more informed. So they had a group of about 2,500 or 2,400 lapsed members that they've been chipping away with. These lapsed members had lapsed at some point over the last anywhere from 1 to 6 years. And so with them, what we're doing is we sent them 3 emails. So I'll show you those 3 emails. Let's see here. All right. So I think, if I remember correctly, this is the first. Actually, no, that's not. This is really interesting. That's the third one, or second one, and I know I have it here somewhere. Yeah, here's the first one. So, did you know your membership expired? So, this is a really interesting question. Across all of our clients who asked this over the course of the last year, we saw somewhere around a 54% answer of no, I did not know my membership lapsed. Now, they specifically, I think, saw a 64% response of no. So basically, that's saying people whose membership has lapsed anywhere from a series of months to a couple of years, maybe, didn't even know their membership lapsed. They'd ignored all the communication coming in. I don't know. I understand how that's possible. It's kind of crazy, but basically they're saying, no, we didn't know. So with that, now we have a huge opportunity. We can, understand if they want to renew and all that sort of stuff. So this was the first email that went out. This was the second, are you planning to renew? And then the third one was this, why are you hesitating to renew? So basically they, over the course of those 3 emails, got a cumulative 23% click-through rate, substantially higher than what they saw with Informs. That's close to conversion. But the real conversion metric here is out of the 2,400, over 30 days, they won back 264 of those lapsed members, generated over $42,000 in revenue. They were telling us that in any, basically 30-day period of doing this with Informs, they might have gotten 30 to 40 at most lapsed members that they won back. Again, with the generic email, hey, your membership has lapsed. Here's a regurgitation of your member benefits. Click here, renew your membership now. This is really, really impactful. And it's also impactful because it gives us an opportunity to serve the member with a better experience. So for example, if I say, yeah, I'm planning to renew your membership. Or I'm planning to renew my membership. So let's go back to this email. Are you planning to renew? I say yes. Let's say I don't renew then, right there on the spot. I don't renew my membership. My intent now, and we know this definitively, my intent as a lapsed member is to renew. So we have actions where we can, as I talked a little bit about earlier, we can add someone to another campaign. We can tag them to add them to a list. Now what we can do is, if they don't renew within 7 to 10 days, and the way we know that they haven't renewed is we're reading this data from the AMS and automatically updating PropFuel's data and automatically adding them to a campaign. We could add them to a campaign to say, hey, we know you're planning on renewing. How can we help you to get renewed? Air and Space Forces Association is a client of ours. They did this really well. So they did this, are you planning to renew? For the people that didn't, they went back to them and they said 7 days later, and they said, hey, how would you like, we know you're planning on it. How would you like us to help you get renewed? Over the phone, via email? Would you like a direct link to your renewal page? Do you need an invoice? Do you need an invoice for a PO? And that really helped to serve and kind of guide that experience for the member. That's a value add. All right, let's go to number 3. So the first 2 that I spoke about were in the realm of revenue generation. This one is a little bit different. It's in the realm of savings. And so background here, one of the really significant use cases that a lot of our clients use PropFuel for is to do member profile building. So basically what that looks like, just for a little bit of background, is almost every association struggles to get the right data about members, updated data, complete data in your AMS. You have a lot of holes, maybe a lot of old data, and that's the problem. And the solutions for it are basically terrible. The solutions are, let's campaign to members and let's ask them to log into their profile. And then once they're in there, navigate to these fields that we tell them about and update those fields. And there's just too much friction in that for the member to actually get results from it. Or other terrible things like, let's have a member complete a survey with this data and then hand key that data into the AMS. Or let's phone call campaign members and then collect that data, write it down, and then put it in the AMS. Or let's have really, really long new member onboarding forms and collect lots of data about members. You don't have to sacrifice the experience or put friction into the process and or have manual processes like what I talked about for member profile building. What PropFuel does is we have the ability to capture a response and then automatically update any field in the AMS with that data. So in this case, MSTA is going out to their members and they're saying, hey, according to our records, this is your home address. Now these gray bubbles are variables, basically data fields that are coming over from Nimble AMS. We can do this with all of the AMSs that we're integrated with and all of the other systems. Then we're saying, hey, here's your preferred email address. Again, according to our records. Now, if I didn't have these, we have fallback variables too, where we could say no home address on file and no preferred email address. So now what's happening is we're saying, hey, here's what we have on file for you. And let me find it in here. Okay. So we're saying that's what we have on file for you. Now I don't have anything. This is a test email. Now we're saying, is this information correct? So if I click no, what's going to happen is it's immediately going to bring me to this page with these open-ended responses here. Now what's happening in the background of this is we've set up a simple workflow in PropFuel where if I say no, it's going to bring me to this page. Here's the key ingredient. Every one of the responses here is tied back to a specific field inside of Nimble or the AMS. So when I type my answer in here for my street, my city, my state, zip, et cetera, and I click submit, it's immediately going to update all the corresponding fields. So it's immediately going to update home street. It's immediately going to update state. It's immediately going to update zip, et cetera. And the key ingredient here is the member never has to be logged in. The member may never have logged into your website before. They may not even know their login credentials. None of that is relevant. The member doesn't have to log in for this to be the case. And the association doesn't have to export data from PropFuel and import it to Nimble or do any manual work. This is real-time, automatically updating these fields. A ton of our clients do this. Now, what's unique about what MSTA did here is they took it a step further. When you answer these questions, they bring you to another set of questions. Now, they have a pretty large member pool, and I'll give another suggestion here in a moment. They have a pretty large member pool. They have about, I don't know, some of them are in the range of like 45 to 50,000 members. So they sent this email out 3 times. They got somewhere 52, 53% of their members to actually update their address and update their and/or their preferred email address. These questions are more experience guiding questions. The last one here is with regard to their magazine. Now, they have a quarterly magazine that forever they have printed it and shipped it out to all members, just by default. You're a member, get the magazine. You're a member, you get the magazine. They've created a digital version of it more recently over the last couple of years. And with that, they just haven't gotten a lot of traffic, engagement, consumption of it. So they did something really innovative here. Simple, but innovative. They basically asked, hey, how would you like to get the magazine? And for the member, they're just answering a question like this. How would you like to get it? So if I answer digital only, what's happening is they're updating a field called no magazine in the AMS with the value true. When that is updated in that way, that automatically unsubscribes them from the physical copy of the magazine. They got about 11,000, I think it was like 11,500 members to opt for digital only for the magazine. Therefore, by default, they're saving about $35,000, not doing what they've done forever, which is shipping those 11,500 members their the print physical copy of the magazine. They're not printing it. They're not shipping it to those folks because they don't want it anyway. They actually did, excuse me, they did the same exact thing with their member cards. If you have physical member cards, they did the same exact thing. Hey, do you want a physical card or do you want a digital card? Forget the savings amount on that. I feel like it was like 45 cents per card. And I mean, it was like good over 20,000 members type thing that they were able to save that on. Anyway, here's my point. Few things are happening with this. One, you're just creating a better member experience, an experience that is better suited for those specific members. You're also creating a pretty substantial savings by doing this. And there's lots of places where associations can create those savings by creating a better member experience through automation and updating data in your AMS. All right, let's go to number 4. I won't spend a ton of time on this one because this is pretty similar to some other things. This is a renewal campaign. What I will say about this is, so this is a 5-email renewal campaign. I'll just walk you through the mechanics of this high level. It's very similar to some of the other, things that I've talked through. But with this specifically, these guys use IMIS, they use Informs. So they took the renewal campaign out of Informs and put it into PropFuel. It's the first thing that they started with when they began with PropFuel. So we're basically going to these members with these questions. Hey, are you planning on renewing? What member benefit do you value the most? That's an awesome one, because what's happening with that is when I get that, this is the second email. Hey, what member benefit do you value the most? So if I say CE and training, what they're going to do is they're going to tell me about the awesome things that they're doing with CE and training. And they're going to say, hey, here's the great stuff that we're doing. We're making that, the renewal of your membership relevant now. We're saying, hey, you renew, this is the stuff that you're getting that aligns with what you want. Pretty powerful. And then a series of other emails. So the first email in this, I forget exactly, but I'll pull it up. I think it got like a 31 or 32% click-through rate. Now I'll use this as an opportunity to talk through our metrics a little bit. So naturally, when you look at your, Informs, HubSpot, Real Magnet emails, you look at open rate and you look at click-through rate. So in this context, we got a 36% response rate. Now, just for a little bit of a background, you probably see open rate somewhere in the low to mid to high 30% range. That's a general kind of ballpark. The industry average for click-through rate for associations and nonprofits is like 1.9 to 2.1% at most. Again, we got a 36% click-through rate to that one email. So that means people are engaging that much earlier in the renewal process. So we're able to better serve them, better understand why they might renew, not renew, and just guide them through the process. Specifically for AMFT, they saw two things. One, after a year of using PropFuel for renewals, we're able to increase their retention rate by 7%, from 82% to 89% retention of members. We're able also to increase the velocity, I'll call it, in which members were renewing. So they put this chart together, just really high level. Basically what this is saying is, each of these colors within the bars are the percentage of members renewing in that period of time. So if you go back to 2020, 72.5% of their members renewed within 0 to 1 month. 9.74 renewed within 3 to 6 months. And then you could see probably 4% here, 3%, 6.1% renewed after more than 1 year. They started using PropFuel halfway through their renewal cycle in 2021, and then used it all the way for 2022. So basically, we were able, after about a year and a half, to increase the percentage of people renewing within 0 to 1 month by 20%. Of extreme importance, we're able to take all the people that were renewing after that kind of 3-month or that 6-month mark and bring all of them up, meaning we had, as you can see here, a little sliver that's renewing in the 2 to 3 month, 5.61% renewing in the 3 to 6 month mark. And then that was it. Everyone was renewing within about 6 months of their renewal date. And so for AMFT, you can see this quote down here from Amanda Darnley, their COO. But the key thing here that happened is they didn't have to do all that late stage work, all those extra call campaigns, extra mailers, email campaigns. And even if they did have to call a member, what they could do is, if the member had engaged in one of the questions, they could either say to the member, hey, we know you're planning on not renewing. You answer this question. Hey, we know we know the member benefit that you value the most is this. We know one of the other questions they asked is, why are you hesitating? So, hey, we know you're would you like to learn? Well, yeah. Why did you let your membership lapse? Hey, we know you let your membership lapse because. So they were able to actually have informed conversations with members versus just picking up the phone, not knowing anything, and it having being a kind of a little bit of a waste of time for the member because they're trying to figure out what's going on with them. So hopefully that's helpful. A lot of really good stuff taken away from that for them. All right, number 5 here. So this is also in the realm of lapsed member win back. So I'll just kind of go through this quickly, and then I want to go through a couple other things. Let me just check the questions real quick. So I did see a question come in. Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that feedback. Just so many great actionable items to bring the 2024 member experience. Thank you. I appreciate that. Really glad this is helpful. All right. So these guys, pretty simple, pretty straightforward, very similar to some of the other examples. What I will point out here is, so this is New York State Vet Medical Society. So they have 2 types of members. They have member hospitals and they have individuals. Their focus for a long time has been winning back individual members and acquisition of individual new members. They have kind of an install base, so to speak, of hospitals, and they don't leave very often. They're pretty. They stay with the society for a long time. Where they saw a substantial hole in the boat, so to speak, was with those individual members. So this is a chart that they put together after 1 month of using PropFuel. We started our lapsed member win back campaign with them, like this right here, on August 8th of this year. So this is the first month, August. Now, the key thing here is you can see this is, I think they won back, or they won, I think in total for this month, they ended up winning back 44, or they saw 44 new members. But here's the key thing is the amount that were blue, because this was the focus. As you can see here, maybe they would get 10, anywhere from maybe 3 to 10 or 11 individual members that were either won back or were new. Vast majority of these. So I think we had 44, like I said, I want to say 39 of them were individuals. And that was the key ingredient for them. So nothing else really too different here to point out other than every single client, I'll tell you, this process works. I mean, it really does, in the sense that, and actually, Robson, maybe we post this. I can throw it in the chat real quick. This is another good example of or document we've compiled with just a series of ROI examples. Every one of our clients who uses PropFuel for renewals, lapse member win back in this way, conference registration, a series of other things, these are the results they see. The results are a stark contrast from what they had been seeing using, again, in forums, HubSpot, Pardot, MailChimp, all these tools for renewal communication, member win back communication, et cetera. So it's just a process that works. So here, I'll throw this in the chat here really quickly. All right. Again, if you have questions, feel free to jump in with them. All right, I have a bonus 6th one, and then I want to just kind of layer in a little bit of other kind of context into this. So this is really something pretty unique. Like I said up front, vast majority, like 99% of our clients are associations. That's just where our background is. We really enjoy working in the association space. We have a handful of clients where we've just kind of fallen backwards into things where it's not an association. This is an example of one. So Showplace Icon is a movie theater company. They have 9 locations around the U.S. They're using PropFuel for their reward member engagement. So new reward members, when they sign on, trying to get them engaged in different products that they have, try to learn about their needs. They use it for profile building. They're also using our PropFuel SMS. So I haven't said anything about this yet, but basically, our grand kind of vision for PropFuel is that PropFuel we really want PropFuel to span 3 primary channels. We want PropFuel to be super effective, like it has been, in email. Second channel that we're now actively clients can use PropFuel for is SMS or text messaging. The third is the website experience. And we see all that to be tied together. Website experience is something we're going to go into substantially in 2024. So we have an SMS product. It's been out for probably about 9 to 12 months now. So essentially with this, you can do some really impactful things. So first of all, it's a part of the integration. So if we're integrated with your AMS, let's say IMS or whatever system it might be, we can bring into PropFuel automatically, if you have it, consent to send SMS to members and any mobile phone numbers that you've already collected. Now, I'll be the first one to say, we probably have 15 to 20% of our clients using SMS. Vast majority of them don't have much, if anything, in the way of consent from members and mobile phone numbers. But if you do have them, you can bring them into PropFuel. Now, the other thing that can be done is you can use PropFuel to capture consent and to capture mobile phone numbers. Actually, let me send myself, get a good example of that real quick, just so everyone can see it, because this is really pretty powerful what we're able to do with this. This really kind of sharpens up the experience around this and takes a lot of legwork. We have clients who have been using SMS for years, but for quite a while. And this is just so much better for the experience of collecting authorization and consent. So basically what you can do is you can use the core function of PropFuel in email, ask a member a question, hey, would you like to opt in to get our SMS? And then based upon that answer, what you can do is we have an action where you can automatically opt them into SMS through PropFuel. You can also write that opt-in back to a field inside of your AMS. Like these guys are writing this back to your membership. So they're writing it back to this field with the answer, yes, I'd like to opt into SMS. So similarly, we can collect mobile phone numbers. So what's powerful about this is whether PropFuel collects the mobile phone number, or if we bring it over from your AMS. In all cases, what we also do is we validate that number, we call a service in the background of PropFuel to validate that it's actually a mobile phone number. And if it's not, we serve that up in the platform. So that's a really good way to clean up your data too, if you do have mobile phone numbers or are collecting them. All right, really long-winded way of saying then once you have all that in place, or you're doing that, it's more of an ongoing thing, you can use PropFuel to send out automated drip SMS campaigns. So Showplace did this. They did something really powerful. So they went out to their members and they said, hey, you got 2 weeks left to redeem this. Here's a coupon code. In my notes, I thought it was 48 hours. I don't know the exact details, but I think it was a 48-hour redeemable coupon. Maybe it was 2 weeks. I don't know. But basically, they're saying, hey, here's a redeemable coupon. You have to come in person at the theater to use it. Across all of their 9 locations, they did it across all of them. They saw an average of a 4% coupon redemption. Now, I don't know anything about statistics for use of coupon codes and point of sale and all that sort of stuff in movie theaters. However, they came back to us and they said that number is off the charts, like for redemption of coupon codes and that sort of stuff. Like typically they would see like half of 1% would be the average redemption rate. So 4% was off the charts, crazy good. And so basically what that did was then that got folks into the theaters to engage. They've also done some really cool stuff. And I can see associations doing this where, and I think this may have been tied into this somehow, I forget the exact details. But basically what they did was they asked members, and I think they did it over email. They tied the email into the SMS, if I remember correctly. So they asked members, hey, what genre of movies do you like the best? So I'd say a genre. And then what they would do is they would add them to an SMS campaign and then deliver to them a coupon where it would say, hey, awesome, here's a coupon. Come, enjoy, that genre of movie with us over the next, 2 days or whatever it is. They did something similar for like refreshments and the other aspects of what you sell at a movie theater, where they said, hey, what draws you most into the movie theater? Because it's a lot around experience for them. And it was like drinks or food or different things like that. Once they learned that, and they gave them a coupon code for that thing. I could see that applying really interestingly to associations around events, learning, things like that. Like, hey, what topic of learning product? And actually we have ISTE does this in their new member onboarding campaign that I was showing you earlier. So basically, what they do as one of their questions is they say this. They say, hey, what topic is top of mind for you right now? Now, when you answer, it's going to point you to a set of learning products that they have. So you could tie that in and say, hey, awesome. here's a coupon code to go redeem over the next 48 hours to buy that type of those learning products from us. So really impactful stuff that you can do to, again, to tie these things together. But for them, this was huge ROI. Getting that 4% coupon redemption for them was really, really substantial. All right, let me look at questions real quick. I'm out of my ROI examples. So, all right, awesome. We don't have anything, but I'm going to spend the next probably 4 minutes or so just kind of layering in a little bit of other kind of background about PropFuel integrations, things like that. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. Again, if you want to learn more about PropFuel and you want to book a more of a personalized, meeting overview demo, for lack of a better term, of PropFuel for your organization, if you do that, and then you were to sign on with PropFuel in December, again, if you were to make that work, and we're pretty flexible with our terms, knowing it's the end of the year and budgets and fiscal year and all that sort of stuff, we'll waive our setup fees and integration and onboarding fees. All right, so just let's talk about what that looks like a little bit. So all of our clients at PropFuel have a dedicated client success manager. So basically what we do is a fully managed, fully guided onboarding process. So it looks something like this at a high level. Basically, we want to be completely entrenched in the strategy side of things with our clients. So first thing we typically do within about 5 to 7 days of a new client signing on, is we do a kickoff meeting. Yeah, there's like tactical things we want to cover in that, but the key thing we want to do is understand the low-hanging fruit, high impact, high leverage opportunities that we can get involved with to make an impact on the association with a set of, with a campaign or set of campaigns. We're going to set your integrations up. Integrations for us is a very, and I know this, knowing when I say this, you may roll your eyes. It's a very simple, very straightforward thing. We have all of these integrations, and basically it's as simple as coming into the platform, clicking to add the integration, and then connecting your data. It's a very, very simple process. So I hope that's helpful. And then from an onboarding standpoint, basically that client success manager works with the client on an ongoing basis during the onboarding process. And we typically get clients' first campaign launched within about 2 to 3 weeks. One of the newer things that we've released is what we call campaign blueprints. Think of it as a playbook where you can actually come in and create a campaign, not from scratch, but create it from a blueprint where you can say, hey, you know what? I want to create a blueprint or a campaign for lapsed member win back. You're going to add a little bit of information to it, press run, and then it's going to actually create all the elements for it, layer in all of our best practices, like the language to use for a question, the timing, all the different aspects of it. And then it's going to actually use ChatGPT to write the content for the landing pages, the follow-up emails, and some of the other action-oriented things. So basically it takes something that would be a 4 or 5+ hour, I would say 3 to 5 hour process to build out a campaign, reduces it down to a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, puts you as the client, as the administrator, in an editing role, not forcing you into a creation role where you have to recreate the wheel again. It puts you into an editing role, and then you can actually just edit the thing and get it out. So that can be used both during our onboarding and on an ongoing basis as you use the product. All right, I hope that's helpful. I don't have anything else. I'll hang here for another minute or two. If you have any questions, feel free to hop in with those. I'll just scan right now to make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, I do see a question. Do you connect with Civi CRM? We don't currently have an integration with Civi CRM, but I do know that we've looked at their API documentation, and we can certainly build that integration, build one of our standard integrations to Civi CRM. So if that's something you'd like to discuss in more detail, happy to do so. So I hope that's helpful. Heidi, thank you for that. Great examples. Love to see what's working for other organizations. Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate that. Unless anyone has any other questions, again, like I said, I'll hang here for another minute or two. Thank you so much for taking the time to attend our webinar today. Glad this has been helpful and informative for everyone. And best of luck with with your end of year push and into the new year. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great day.